Hey, good people. Hopefully, y'all are doing very, 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 very well out there. Oh, something just started playing in my ear for a second there. But yeah, today we are going to keep it absolutely chill and just vibe out with each other for a little bit. I just want to tell you who has been talking to you and talking at you and saying things, interviewing people for your viewing pleasure. A little bit about who I am and a little bit about the company that I co-founded with my lovely wife, Tensi, called Ufulu Child. So, first and foremost, good people, please like the video. You gotta like the video because I was on the phone with Miss Frizzle from the Magic School Bus. She said that she got this new device that is just as magical as her school bus, and she's going to gift it to everybody that likes this video. So you gotta like the video to get the gift from Miss Frizzle. Everybody likes gifts from Miss Frizzle. They're super useful. They help you learn. You gotta like the video. If you don't like the video for yourself, then like the video and gift your special gift to someone else. Give it to your neighbor, your spouse, your kid. Just give it to somebody. Also, subscribe to the channels, okay? The Inner Storyteller channel and the Ufulu Child channel, please. If you are here, then you are in for some real conversations, even though today we're keeping it super chill. We usually talk about natural law, we talk about religion, the good, the bad, the ugly, and the great. We talk about money, we talk about anarchy, culture, and how mankind is manipulated by forces that do not have our best interests at heart because they're completely evil. And I say we talk about religion. We are not bashing faith systems on this channel. We do not get disrespectful and call people names for having a religion. We are simply examining the psychological affects and effects of the stories we have the most faith in, the ones we have the most stake in, and looking at how those stories help shape society. What are the fruits of the stories? And that examination has to sit right alongside an honest look into the current human condition, which is slavery. Government is slavery, good people. And the question we have to keep coming back to is what can actually be with a proper understanding of the inner storyteller and how it works. Now, if any of that makes you a little uneasy, makes you a little angry, or makes you uncomfortable in any way, please, good people, be assured and reassured that although you are 1000% encouraged to stay, confront those feelings, you are welcome to leave right after you like the video. Gotta like the video first. Not allowed to leave. The door is locked until you like the video. Then it magically opens. And boom, there you go. A comment from Ufulu Child. We are going to talk a little bit about that awesome, awesome, awesome company co-founded by my wife and I. But first, a little about me. Hey guys, what's happening? I'm Soul. You can call me Soul. My name is Maurice, but you can call me Soul. I am in my mid 30s, so I feel old, but I still feel young, and I am young. But all the stress that we get in this decaying society makes you feel older than you are. Anyway, I am a philosopher. Okay. I'm a man of many hats, but first and foremost, I am a philosopher. And my, approach to being a philosopher, and yeah, in a way, everybody is kind of a philosopher because you do develop your personality alongside your worldview, their, ergo your personal philosophy. But I'm a philosopher on purpose, right? I write about my deepest contemplations, publish them, and I get pretty philosophical on this show. Um, things of this nature. uh, and I say I'm a man of many hats, but I'm a philosopher first because my and it's not just my identity. It's like my what I notice about my natural rhythm is that I engage in deep reflection and contemplation about things before I engage in utility of something or the like dislike comparison. I like to see what something is, what it's all about before doing anything else. And that's just something I've noticed is just natural to me. And so growing up, I had a hard time. I had a hard time understanding myself. I had a hard time understanding the world. I had a hard time understanding religion, um, all types of religions that a lot of my peers were just more easily able to make themselves used to. Religions like public school and um, like family dynamics that don't make sense that you're given from television or whatever, where the whole life really centers not around principle but around like procedure. This is what you're supposed to do, then you do this, then you do this, then you get the yard, then you cut the grass, then you do this, like that kind of family religion. All of that, was very hard on my brain, and I did not know what this grand game called life was all about. I couldn't put my finger on it. So I began to contemplate things, and I began to read, listen to, and watch other philosophers as well as historians and debaters and authors and whatnot take in their content, right? I began to express the things that I was learning and challenge the belief system of my parents and things as young as 11, 12 years old, and start finding my voice as young as about 15, 16 years old, as far as standing my ground and you know knowing a little something about myself, although of course I know myself much differently in my mid 30s than I did as a funny teenager. And oh boy, I was funny. Not in the comedy sense. I could not, I couldn't joke like I can now, but I was a funny character in many ways. I used to lie a lot as a teenager. Couldn't help it. I was as an expression of some family dynamics that I was going through and traumas that I had taken on in my youth. I just would lie. I would come up with elaborate ways to tell untruths for absolutely no reason. I grew out of that by like my mid 20s, but that was a thing. I got good at I wouldn't say good at lying in the sense like a thief has to get good at lying, but good at lying, for a kid lying for kid purposes. I was like really good at that extent of just telling untruths for no goddamn reason. you know. Um Likely stemming from some sort of fear of being exposed or something. But regardless, it led me to have an appreciation for the truth. It led me to have an appreciation for telling the truth, for exploring the truth out loud, whether the truth is about me and what I've done or not done, said or not said, or about you, what you've done, not done, said, not said, whatever. I I really like and have a fond relationship with the truth and with people who can share the truth consistently, especially under pressure, right? Which is why I'm such a huge fan of people like Candace Owens, um, and stuff like that. These, some podcasters, some voices that. Oh, hold on, my mic thing is coming off. One sec, guys. Just fix my little. Gotta unscrew it. and then, or to loosen it, and then I can fix it better. Boom. Now I can tightening. I'm gonna lean this on my shoulder and kind of keep chatting so that it's not all quiet, guys. There we go. Uh-uh. And out. Face. Okay. It's let me know if I'm lagging a lot in guys in the comments. With this appreciation for sharing the truth, I decided when I was, you know, falling into rabbit holes and researching things to start my own podcast. And that podcast was called Become the Expression of Love podcast, the Expression of Love podcast. And it was fun, it was a fun little time. I'm going to pull up my YouTube channel for you guys and show you some stuff, videos. Let's go to oldest. Boom. So this is, as you can see, 3 years ago, old podcast. Around this time, I was coming from like a almost kind of like a left leaning, but not really trusting of government overall, but left leaning as far as what I wanted for politics, political stance. And my podcast was not heavily political, but it was it was political in its tonality, right? The tone of it. And I had, various conversations. It was mostly interview based. Interview one, two, right? Uh oh, that's a preview. 5 minute preview, and then here's the actual interview. You know? And I would post clips, and I was video editing. Video editing was a whole lot of my day. And then around here ish, around this era, I had a bit of an awakening where I realized that I'm having these conversations with people and I don't really know what I'm talking about, right? Like, I don't really have a lot of grounding for the ideas that I'm putting forth in this podcast. And that bothered me because I would look at other people's podcasts and not that I would compare myself, but I would notice how much of a backing they had to what they said, right? And how I was basically mimicking the mannerism of saying things with confidence and saying things. I've always been a very confident person as far as my own beliefs, at least about my like the worldview I was building. I've always spoken with confidence in that regard, and so speaking about random topics on a podcast was also very easy for me to just sound like I knew what I was talking about. But in having conversations with people, sometimes either you're challenged or you might just even be asked for clarity and if you're not able to clarify, or if you're not able to do so with the amount of confidence that you just came with the previous statement, you start to look a little awkward. And being as self conscious and self aware and reflective as I was, I noticed that very early. And I was like, yeah, I need to start researching stuff. And actually researching stuff woke me up out of one sleep into a different sleep. And I went from, left leaning with little knowledge of and little care for government as a concept and as an entity to like right leaning with a lot of positive and a lot of negative things in regards to the government itself, and calling myself a conservative because generally I would my awakening led me to align with political stances on the conservative side more than the modern liberal side. And let me see, let me make myself small again. And so this video was pretty funny. So I'm not gonna play it because it's like 8 whole minutes, and my presentation skills were not the exact same. I did used to edit my videos pretty nice, but she responded to a comment that I made. This lady right here, and she was like, "Fall on a knife" or something, and I was just asking the question. I was like, something. She was like afraid of somebody that slowed down his car when she was walking home, and she was did a selfie of herself, made a whole video about it, posted the video. On TikTok or some platform, and I commented about some something that maybe sounded like, "Oh, not all men, right? Not all men," something like that. It's like, you can calm down with all of these comments about men in general that you just like are spewing onto the internet right now. Was my feeling. I remember that feeling. So I probably commented something that came off as a not all men answer to her video. And she tells me to kill myself. I was like, goodness gracious. So I made a whole video about that interaction. Um, and yeah, just kind of, don't seek happiness, right? Happiness is not what you think it is. And I didn't say happiness is not relevant, but don't seek it or whatever. What's really wrong with capitalism? Part one. Me and my man's Denzel had a nice little, you could call it a debate, but it wouldn't want to get too lost in memory lane. This was my first attempt at a podcast. As you can see, I start talking about all of the should everyone vote, um, the culture of dehumanization. I was on my conservative talking points, the truth about George Floyd, right after Candace Owens' documentary came out, which I still agree with everything that she said on her documentary. By the way, that doesn't you don't have to believe in government for that. Regardless, it was a nice little sold out. As you can see, 3 years ago, and then 2 years ago. So this is a year apart from how Gen Z can save the world to this. This is another aspect of myself, and I'm going to share this video with you. I hope you enjoy. I am also a hip hop artist. I'm a rapper. I rap positive and, big word rap lyrics over various kinds of beats and instrumentals. And I hope you enjoy these songs. Check it out. Check it. Whenever I rip the mic, I make it rest in its peace. The 7 days represented, that's a message for me. Sunday sets the pace for the rest of the week, and my name is Soul, meaning sun, with an energy connection to the tendency from blessing the street is left in the heat. The crest in my string is misrepresented, but then I lend a hand and make a mess of a sheet of paper. With this rhyme that is rest, food and commerce kind of consent. Counting continents, continuums, conventions, connects. Common courtesy commands, communication, consent. A precedent, preliminarily provoking progression. Populating possibilities, preventing professions. From preserving problematical promotion, impress. Masking is leading, melanated forest, monetize mankind, meaning making all us black people love the dollar. They feed us more than they Moorish history and their mission to beat them. We've been beaten past, we gotten bullied.
in happiness ways with nothing to say. God's love to you, some love in the day. Use your love, love. Hey, hey. Hey, yeah, but what's that? Well, that's love. It's intangible, but felt the physical. It can't be seen, yet it's also visual. They say God is love, and some mean it as literal, though I think it's more spiritual. And patiently yoking clinical minerals given to individuals, sinners, saints, and criminals hasn't been healing you since Imhotep ruled medicine. And lately, who's better than the original, man? Dedication is degradation, desegregation, and integration, assimilation to integration to heaven's haven, heavily waiting on symptomatic virtuous, running journalists, running herbalist, running verbalist, becoming courteous, humming virtuous, money murderers who creates his knowledge with meditation. I say,
Hey, and we back again. You know what I'm saying? So, I rap, I do art, I draw. I have a picture up there. It'd be hard to try to get you to see it. But the last thing about myself that I have to share with you guys is, of course, my authorship. I have written 2 books, and the first one, like I said, is called Culture Control. Okay, Culture Control by yours truly, Soul Expression, and that was a really really fun time. But the book that's out right now for pre-order, it's called The Inner Storyteller. Of course, you are not thinking for yourself. You only believe you are. Most people never realize it. Every belief that you hold about the world, others, and yourself was shaped by something you didn't choose. Most people live inside a story they didn't write. They defend it. It exposes the forces shaping your perception, your decisions, and your behavior without you noticing. At the center is the inner storyteller, the part of you that gives meaning to everything and decides who you become. If you don't take control of it, something else will. And it already has. After reading this, you will see how your beliefs were formed, recognize manipulation in real time, think with clarity, and act with intention. First edition pre order. Pre orders include first edition paperback, early access before the public release, and a private author reflection on applying the ideas. By me. Hi. Hi again, everybody. And of course, if you click that, then takes you to the next steps where you can make a private donation and get the book. And lastly, I want to talk about Ufulu Child. So you can see this link on linktr.ee. That spells link tree, but the .ee is instead of the .com / Ufulu Child. Ufulu means freedom, pardon me. And this is that link. This is the link tree. Link tree just means a tree of links, right? There's a whole bunch of social media sites that allow you to put a bunch of websites or a bunch of URLs, and it just lays them out in a nice little format for you. So that first link, of course, is the Inner Storyteller, the book. The second link is where you are right now, the podcast here on YouTube. And then we have the Thrive Zone. Now, the Thrive Zone is run completely by Tensi, my lovely wife, and uh, every third Sunday of the month, she has a Thrive Zone virtual community connector circle. Very powerful stuff, especially for working mamas and whatnot. You have the Thrive Zone Tribe, a community off of social media, a real community. They know each other, they help each other. And her podcast, the Thrive Zone podcast with Tensi Campbell. True. If you like that phrase, you cannot have it. It is ours. um, the Holistic Freedom Secrets podcast here on YouTube. That's on the Ufulu Child of episodes of this podcast. Let me see if it tells me the number very quickly. The page is loading. 143 episodes. Okay. So definitely a lot to watch and learn over there. Next, we have whole body butter. Whole body butter. Okay. Not lotion. Not I think I forgot to no, I think I did. Anyway, I'm gonna share this screen. The whole body butter, here it is our is a wellness product, or not product, but it's a wellness thing that my wife makes for your skin and hair. A whole body butter. You just don't eat it, you know, but it's very, very, very good for all things. It eases and soothes aches and pains, protects your skin, moisturizes from head to toe. You don't need all of this craziness. You can simplify your routine. It's clean. You'll be feeling beautiful, smelling great, and healing your skin. Right? Tell you what shea butter is. We got some reviews and things, and then you can go ahead and make your purchase there. And then next on the link tree is Culture Control. That's this book. This book. It's a great book. It's a great read. As you can see, I got some images in there and some diagrams and some slides um, to go along with a very wordy book that will make you think and wake you up to some truths that you might not be aware of. And I'm also going to make some assertions that you'll probably disagree with, but that's what a writer does. It's what a philosopher does. I disagree with some of that book already, but not most of it. Next on the link tree after culture control is Ufulu means freedom. So we have a free consultation call if you're looking for putting together or sponsoring or having us participate in some way in an arts plus wellness experience. Our ufuluchild.com website and our reviews. And lastly, under things we love, we have collectively sustainable, hyper-local food sovereignty. Uh, collectively sustainable is run by the big homie Lawrence out in Atlanta. Nature Boy is his nickname. He's great. Check out Collectively Sustainable as soon as you can, and get your healthy living on with your real community, and connect with people that are doing all that they can to help facilitate us doing what we can to be as human as possible, as natural as possible, right? Growing our own food, um, just knowing how to do things that we would otherwise depend on either the government or like government subsidized big corporate giants to do for us. With all of that said, good people, that is a slight introduction, a slight saying hello to you from me of who I am, what I'm doing. Also, in culture control, which again you can get on the link tree that's in the book, chapter 8, I believe. Let me double check. Chapter 8, a journey through utter BS, bull butter, as Baron Coleman would call it. Um, quote on there, quote, without self knowledge, without understanding of the workings and functions of his machine, man cannot be free. He cannot govern himself. He will always remain a slave without self knowledge or understanding of the workings and functions of his machine. Um, that chapter is all about who I am, my 2 or 3 awakenings that I've had in life. I feel like it is falling again. What's going on? What is going on with my microphone stand thing? Yeah, get back on there. Sorry, guys. That whole chapter, it describes everything about my life and where I come from, and even where I come from philosophically. You know, as I was slowly climbing the ladder of development until I arrived at my most recent awakenings, back into anarchy and love, real love, true care, all of these things. Anyway, I love you guys and thank you so very much for remembering to like the video and subscribe to the channels on our way out. Today is indeed Tuesday, and I will see you all tomorrow, Wednesday, same time, same place, to talk about something else on the Inner Storyteller, excuse me, the Inner Storyteller podcast.